For this homework assignment, they want to write the slope-intercept form of the equation of each line. Slope-intercept form basically means solve for y. So that's when you have y equals mx plus b. So if you have this equation right here, which is 5x plus 4y equals 12. To get y by itself, you have to move that x to the other side, because that's what's bothering the y on the same side. Okay, so once we move that, if it's a positive 5x, we're taking it away. So we do minus 5x, and it goes away from here. So you move that x to the other side, and then you divide by the number in front of y. So divide by 4, and you divide every term by 4. This cancels out. So you're able to end up with y equals 12 divided by 4, that's 3, minus 5 over 4x. Okay? From here you should be able to see that this is the slope and this is the y-intercept. So first step is move the x. The next step is divide by the number in front of y. So move x. Second step, divide. In the next problem, it says find the 0. In order to get the 0, that really means the x-intercept. So you have to remember, to get the x-intercept, you have to do the opposite of y divided by the slope. You just have to identify what the y is and what the slope is. The slope is the term that has the x. So that -2, that is your slope. The one that has no variable, your constant, that is your y-intercept. So if it's a positive 16, it would be a -16 divided by -2, and I get that my x-intercept equals a positive 8. This one's simple because it was already in y equals. The next problem, it's not in y equals. So when they ask for the 0 here, once again, the 0 means they want the x-intercept. So when they ask for the 0 here, you actually have to get the y by itself. So if you have 24x, you're going to get the y by itself, you have to get rid of the x. Move it to the other side. So you want to isolate y, so we get move the x to the other side. So if it's a positive 24x, you're going to have to do minus 24x. It cancels out. And then you move the x, you divide by the number in front of y, which in this case it's 3. And you end up with y equals 16 minus 8x. Once again, to get that x-intercept, you're going to do the opposite of y divided by the slope. So it's just identifying who is who. The one with the x, that is your slope. This -8 has the x, so that's my slope. And the one without it, without anything, the constant, that's your y-intercept. So If it's a positive 16, we're going to do negative 16 divided by negative 8. That's my slope. And I get that my x-intercept is a positive 2. When you have to evaluate a function and you don't have a calculator, what I want you to know is they want you to find this. This is what they want. So from here, what you have to recognize is that this 4 is the x. So you really have x equals 4. And if we know what x equals, and that is 4, I can then plug it into the equation. So I end up with 4 plus 5. 4 plus 5 is equal to 9. So if you write 9, I'll accept it. If you write h of 4 equals 9, that's even better. I like this more, but I'll accept this or this. Either one, as long as I know that you need to plug in the x. Find the third term of this sequence. Third term means the third number. Okay, so you come back to the sequence. You see n minus 1 means I have a recursive sequence. And this right here, this 3, tells me what I'm going to be doing. So because of this 3, they're not multiplying. I have a and I'm taking away 3, so I am subtracting 3. So I start with the first term that they gave me. My first number is negative 7. And I'm going to take away 3 because that's what the rule tells me to do. And I get negative 10. Now, if this one's the first, this one's the second. So I still don't want this. I'm not done. I got to take away 3, which is like what they tell me to do, and I get negative 13. That is my third number. That would be the answer.